Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Amir Azuddin. So this is my demonstrations about my project. It's about double layer home energy management system. So we go to the first part is the input. This is about the input power load after we have changed all of the loads into the 5-star energy appliances. So we go inside. So we have some types of the loads. First, I have tools. Is air conditioner. Next is washing machine, blender, hair dryer, hair straightener, vacuum cleaner, television, personal computer, refrigerator, rice cooker, fan, and lighting. So for the first box, it represents for the first hour. It means first hour means 1 a.m. Second box 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and so on until 24 hours, and the last is 12 a.m. So I have put all the input. So after that, all of the input I have summation it and added. So for the 1 a.m. we can see 700 watt, 2 a.m. 700 watt, 3 a.m. 700 watt, and so on. So for the graph is we can see this is the graph. We can see the peak hour is around 8 p.m. and above. Actually, we need to flatten this peak hour, this peak, and we need to do the valley fillings activity. We fill to the off-peak hour. So we go to the next part. The next part is determination of transferable load and immutable load. So this is about the type of loads. So for the air conditioner, I have put 3 air conditioner. Actually, for the power consumption of air conditioner is 760 times 3, so the total is 2280, and you can see so on. So for the summation of the transferable load is 4870. The total load is 6937. Summation of the important load is 2067. So we can see the graph is for this one. For the transferable load, you can see this is the total load. This is the transferable load, and this one is important load. So for the next block is determination of the power average, minimum, and maximum power variations. So we go in deeper. So this is the simulations. So I have summation all of the power loads and divide by 24 hours to get the average power, and 90% is for the minimums and 1.1 is for the maximums variations. So for this is the value. So this is the power load profile. This is the maximum, average, and this one, the blue one, the blue color, the blue line one is minimum variations. So we go to the next block is operation to validate the shifting load. So I have do some validation. It's about or high or low consumption, whether we need to know the power load is low or high consumption. Is mean is that is higher than the max or minimum variations. So this is the validations programs. Power load minus summation of transferable load is that is higher than the power minimum power variation, and this is on power load plus summation of transferable load is that it higher than the maximum power variation. So the one is represent yes, and zero actually is represent no. So this one is the price rate. So I have put the price rate for the every hour. So for the for example is 1 a.m. the price rate is 0.075 cents, and for the 2 a.m. is 0.075 cents, and so on until for the 24 hours. So for the average price, so actually average price is I have summation all of the hours, the price rate, and I divide into the 24 to get the average price, and I need to get the graph for that. So this one is the graph of the price rate, and this is the average price. So we can see at the night it have the height of the price rates. So actually the night is the high demand power consumptions. So we go in deeper for the mode operations. We have 5 mode operation. First is mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4 and mode 5. So actually for the mode 1 it represent is for the mode 1 the shift appliances will shift to the off peak hour. For the mode 2 the load priority is checked and the appliances are shift based on the lowest priority. For the mode 3 we consider the load is at optimum range. Mode 4 shiftable load will fill the value, and the last is the mode 5, the load profile remain unchanged. So for example for the mode 1, so from the we can see 0 represent no and 1 is represent yes. So for example at the 12 a.m. 24 hours 24, the mode 1 will consider. For the 23 at the 11 p.m. the mode 1 also consider, but for the 1 a.m. the mode 1 is not considered because it is the off peak hour. But from the 6 p.m. we can see all of this is the peak hour, so we need to shift the load into the off peak hour. So this one is the mode 2, mode 3, mode 4 and mode 5. So we go for the mode load operations. So for the mode 1, no load will be shift. So for the mode 2, we can see the at night is the mode 2. We use the mode 2, and for the mode 3, from the 1 AM, and mode 4 we doesn't use the mode 4, and mode 5 we can see at this time we have the load profiles remain unchanged. So after the mode have been operated, so we got the new power load after the first layer. All of this is the first layer. So after we'll add all of the mode, so we can see from the 1 AM is 1486. So we can see this one at the night of peak hour have been shifted to the off peak hour. So this is, we enter to the second layer. This is the input for the renewable energy, small renewable energy. So this is for the PV input. So I have put the input, the PV input referenced by the hour. So we can see the peak hour is 1 AM. Peak power generate from the PV input. For the water turbine, peak hour is at night, is at morning, and also at the afternoon, because we use the washing machines. So this is the total wind turbines. No, actually this is a wind turbine. So actually the wind is more on the night. So for the water turbines, so water turbine is before the 18 is 6 PM. After the people have come back from the works, so the water is used more, so the water turbine can generate more at 6 PM. So this is the total water turbine. We have generate. So the total RE, this is the total RE after we added the PV, wind turbine, water turbines. So actually the peak small renewable energy generates is at 1 PM. So this is the operation for the renewable energy flow. So actually the renewable energy will flow directly to the appliances, and for the balance of the renewable energy will store in the battery. So this is the operations for the renewable energy flow before we store the renewable energy into the battery. So this is the we need to know the determinations. We need to determine is that the power PV is high than power load, and this is for the power PV, the solar power, plus wind turbine, is that it height to the power load, and this also power PV plus wind turbine and water turbine, is that the height than the power load. So all of these represent by hour. So this is the battery operations. So we can see the battery actions actually is, we can see at 10 the battery action not charged but it discharged, but at 3 p.m. we can see the battery was charged because we have the balance of the renewable energy. So we can see at each time, each hour, we can see the battery was absorb the energy from the renewable energy. So this one is battery discharge. We can see the battery was discharged because lack of direct renewable energy to the appliances. So this is for the balance, battery balance. So we can see the battery available balance is at 3 p.m. and for at 6 p.m. and this is a 4 p.m. Okay, this is the price. We need to determine the price. Is that the price average higher than the price rate? If yes, we will put 1. If no, we will put 0. So for the grid operations after the DSM, so we have the grid usage. So all the present the time is, so we can see at the 12 a.m. the grid will use because the battery and the renewable energy is like doesn't have the balance, so we need to use the grid like that for the 11 p.m., 10 p.m. and 9 p.m. So this is the grid bill that we need to pay. We have calculate from the price rate times with the power load that have remaining after we minus with the renewable energy. So this is the grid bill daily after we implement the double layer. So the total of the grid for the months, for the monthly, is we need to pay is 64 ringgit and 84 cents. So for this one is a input power load that we need to put. It's about the before the DSM, before the 5-star ratings. So this is the input. So it has the higher power load at the night. So for this one is the bill before we use the DSM, without DSM. So for the grid bill without DSM, we can see it have higher at the night because night is the peak demand, high demand, and the price rate is so expensive. So for the daily is 6 ringgit, and actually for the monthly bill, we need to pay 168.40. So for the comparison that we need to see is, this one is the power load. This one is before 5-star rating, and this one after we change to the 5-star ratings. So we can see this graph is quite different. So for next is comparison power load after first layer. We can see this is the original graph without DSM, the blue color, and the yellow color is after DSM. So we have flattened the peak hour, and we do the value filling activity into the off peak hour. So this is last I want to highlight is about the comparison, the grid bill we need to pay for daily. So actually we can see the huge of difference from the grid bill. This is the old grid bill we need to pay, and this is the new after we implement the DSM. So actually for the case before we implement the double layer, we need to pay, the bill is 166 ringgit 40 cents, but after we implement, we just only need to pay the bill is 64 ringgit and 84 cents. So for the objective was achieved for analyze, and we need to flatten the demands, the load profile from the peak hour to the off peak hour, and we have reduced, and the next objective is that we have reduced the electricity bills. So the simulation have validated that the double layer home energy management system can be implemented. Thank you.